Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hawks Latest, your number one source for news, updates, rumors, opinions, and you guessed it, the latest and the greatest regarding the Atlanta Hawks. I'm your host, Zach Langley, aka Langley ATL, and today we've got a lot to talk about. So, from uniform news that definitely has the city buzzing and has been a large topic of discussion over the last 24 hours, to some contract drama surrounding Hawks star guard Trae Young. It could definitely shape the future of the franchise. And, over the past several weeks, Trae has been eligible to sign that extension. There's been some recent developments on that front, and we're going to talk about it all here. We're also going to dive into an exciting new two-way signing. Well, not really new. The Hawks signed this guy a few weeks ago, just shortly after the NBA draft, but he looks like a real gem, and we're going to discuss his role not just next year, but moving forward as a potential, piece of this young core that looks phenomenal. We're also going to discuss a familiar face who might be returning to the NBA. There were definitely some contractual reasons why he went overseas for last season, but a return to the NBA looks likely, and if so, the Hawks should be all over it. So we definitely don't want to waste any time with this episode. So without further ado, let's jump right into it and talk about how just yesterday, on Friday, the Atlanta Hawks officially announced the return of their beloved Peachtree City Edition uniforms. They were originally worn during the 2019-2020 season. That was actually Trae Young's second year. The Hawks were not good in these uniforms. They were definitely still in their tanking phase. This was definitely part of an era where the Hawks weren't really looking to win too much, just build through the draft. But maybe them coming back now, it'll be a good thing to, with the Hawks being the best team that they've had in the Trae Young era, maybe they can flip the script a little bit in those uniforms. This year's version is not identical to how it was in 2019. It comes with a few notable changes. While the black base and the peach accented trim remain true to the original design, the updated jersey now features a peach graphic just along the waistband. It has the basketball seams on it. It replaces the classic ATL word mark that was there on the previous uniforms. This hybrid logo had previously been used on their Peachtree themed court design, so it's cool to see them add it to the uniform. It adds a modern twist to a fan favorite look. I've definitely been a fan of this trend so far in the NBA. It looks like teams for the next several seasons are just going to be reusing old City Edition uniforms, but just having slight tweaks to them. I really like that. I think it helps develop identity for each organization. I really like it. And I was upset that, before this started happening, that I would never have a chance to get one of these jerseys, one of these authentic jerseys again, just because they would never go on sale due to them not being an actual uniform of the team. But with all these coming back, we're going to have that chance once again. For those wondering, though, and there were some strong rumors circulating just around NBA media that the Hawks might bring back the MLK-themed City Edition uniforms this upcoming season. That is not going to be happening anymore because the Peachtree are going to be the fourth uniform set that the Hawks have alongside the Statement, Icon, and Association uniforms. It's not going to be happening this year, but maybe next year we can see the return of the fan favorite. Maybe they want to see this team back in the playoffs before we wear a uniform with such merit and history. I was looking forward to it, though, not just because of how good the uniforms look, but the playoff success that came with it. Last time the Hawks wore the MLK uniforms, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, and just Trae stepping on a ref away from being in the NBA Finals in just one of Trae's first seasons in the NBA. Maybe we can flip the script on these new Peachtree uniforms and have some playoff success in these. Another thing that's worth noting, at least, is that the Hawks currently don't have a jersey patch sponsor. The contract with the YMCA actually recently just expired after last season, and also back in 2019-2020 when the Peachtree uniforms were still a thing, before they came back, obviously, the second time. The uniform featured that Share Care patch. It was the Share Care patch that ran the Hawks for several seasons. It's an Atlanta-based digital healthcare company. That deal has since expired, and obviously the most recent partnership with the YMCA is also over. They had that for the past 2 seasons, and this is just a personal opinion. I'm holding off on getting any new player jerseys until we find out who that next jersey sponsor is going to be. I was thinking about getting a Nickeil Alexander-Walker jersey just because they locked him up for the next 4 years, and he looks like a part of that core. Definitely moving forward and not just a 1-year rental like guys like maybe Porzingis and Kennard are. I'm going to hold off on getting a jersey until we find out who that jersey sponsor is. I don't want an outdated one that has the YMCA on it. The likelihood that they bring back the YMCA logo is still there. I think it looks great with the uniforms. I think it would look great on the Peachtree Edition uniforms, but I just want to play it safe, because because we never know. But I do think it looks sharp, and I'm really excited for the Peachtree uniforms to come back because it really follows that identity of Atlanta, with the street Peachtree and also Georgia being the Peach State. It just really fits the vibe of the organization, and maybe we can get some wins in it. So next up, we're going to talk about some intriguing comments from the face of the franchise himself, Trae Young. So we've known for weeks now that Trae Young has been eligible to sign a contract extension. There's been no substantive talks on that so far. But on Friday, Trae chimed in on NFL star Micah Parsons' ongoing contract standoff with the Dallas Cowboys and his recent trade request. Trae replied to Parsons on X saying, and I quote, "This is why you pay the man early. When someone will take less early to stay in a place he wanted to be forever, you do it. The price only goes up now." That's a pretty direct message from Trae. And while it was about Parsons on the surface, the subtext is impossible to ignore. And it's something that Atlanta has to pay attention to a little bit. You don't want to, make a guy like Trae upset because he's the face of the franchise and, has a strong argument for the best player in franchise history. He's eligible to sign that 4-year, $229 million max extension, and it doesn't look like Atlanta will give him a max. That's becoming increasingly clear. But he holds that player option for the 2025-26 season. After the 2025-26 season, it's no secret that he's left extension talks up in the air so far, but this quote suggests that he might be open to taking less to stay in Atlanta if it means, long-term commitment from the organization. So, it brings up the question why it hasn't gotten done yet if Trae is truly open to taking less. I don't think the franchise will just choose to not extend him at all. I think that would be a pretty bad decision, especially if he's willing to take less for the future financial flexibility of the team. According to reports, though, the Hawks front office hasn't offered him that max yet, and they appear to be taking a wait-and-see approach since nothing's gotten done yet. Maybe they want another deep playoff run before they lock Trae into another massive contract, even if that is a little below the max. But like I said, though, if Trae is genuinely open to a team-friendly deal, it raises questions about why there hasn't been any sort of urgency to get a deal done. We're going to be watching this one closely. We've been talking about his extension a lot. I feel like there's a new report every single day suggesting something else that we haven't thought about before, but I don't know, just super interesting. I want to lock up Trae long-term, and if he's seriously willing to take less for the future financial flexibility of the organization, I think you do that 10 times out of 10, I think, without any hesitation. But it looks like they are going to wait and just, kind of see what he can do with this new and improved roster if they stay healthy. So now we're going to talk about one of the Hawks' newest additions. They got him right after the draft, forward Eli Ndiaye. So they signed him to a two-way deal after going undrafted in 2025. The 6'8" forward made an immediate impact in his only Las Vegas Summer League appearance. He played only one game, but he posted 12 points and 6 rebounds in just 21 minutes before that wrist injury sidelined him for the remainder of the Summer League. That one game was enough for ESPN's Kevin Pelton to call him the best undrafted rookie in all of Summer League. That's definitely a big deal, and we love to see it. That we talked about that national recognition. Just 21 years old, Ndiaye comes to Atlanta with 5 years of pro experience in Spain, playing for Real Madrid. Last season, he averaged modest numbers, 4 points, 3 rebounds in just 14 minutes. That's definitely not anything eye-popping, but that is in a deep EuroLeague rotation, and maybe his game can translate to the NBA. He looked great in that Summer League game, so I don't see why it couldn't. He's a stretch big with a developing outside shot and elite athleticism in transition. Definitely showcased that in the lone game. During the Summer League game, he hit 4 threes and filled the stat sheet on both ends, 2 assists, a steal, and a block. So just looked like an all-around great player, and he's a developmental piece. The Hawks front office clearly sees potential in him, so expect him to spend most of next season in College Park. With the Skyhawks, rather with the ball club. But don't be surprised if he breaks into an NBA rotation sooner than later. He's definitely a raw player, and Atlanta has their handful of raw prospects. But his upside is real, and fans should keep an eye on his development. I'm certainly going to go out to College Park several times this season to watch him play, because I'm excited about his development and who he can really become as a player. And so we're going to close out today's video with a potential fan favorite returning. So after being drafted by the Hawks back in 2019, Bruno Fernando had stints with the Celtics, Rockets, and Raptors. He ended up returning to Atlanta briefly in 2022. Most recently, he's been playing overseas with Real Madrid just last season. So Fernando still has 1 year left in his deal with Spain, but according to several sources, his future with the team will depend on new head coach Sergio Scariolo's vision. If he doesn't see a fit, Bruno could be released. They could open the door for him to make an NBA return. If that happens, Atlanta should be in the mix, and I would honestly view it as one of the most realistic options for the Atlanta Hawks, filling up that 15th and final roster spot. Fernando is a fan favorite. One of the most respected locker room guys around. Everyone loves him in Atlanta, from the fans to the people within the organization. On the court, though, he is a serviceable third big. I mean, he's not much more than that if we're talking about a pure on-court ability. This is someone who can, be good in spot minutes. He's athletic, physical, and reliable in just limited minutes. The Hawks currently have that one open roster spot, and while there may be a flashier free agent out there, this would be a chemistry signing that is pretty calculated and very low risk. It makes a lot of sense, I think, for both parties if he comes back to the NBA. So don't be surprised if, he maybe gets an invite to training camp or even like a non-guaranteed deal if things open up. I would love to see Bruno back. I was actually previously in the six-man section, now known as the 404 crew, just the fans that love him. I mean, that love the Hawks and show up to every single game. And that was super fun, but we loved Bruno as a group, so it'd be awesome to see him come back. So that's going to kind of conclude today's episode. To recap, the Peachtree jerseys are back. Trae Young is sending pointed, very direct messages to the front office, and hopefully they come to an agreement on an extension, maybe a little below the max. I think that would be great. I think the organization seriously should offer him something if he's willing to take less than the max. And Eli Ndiaye is seriously a name to watch next season and moving forward. Bruno Fernando could also be making his third stint in Atlanta, and it's something that I and the rest of the fans would truly love to see. We're still waiting on news about the Hawks jersey sponsor, and that could affect a lot from fan merch to player branding. But that's going to be it for today's episode of Hawks Latest. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a single update. We're going to be pumping out videos every single day, keeping you guys informed on the latest and the greatest regarding the Atlanta Hawks. So once again, I'm Zach Langley, aka Langley ATL. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.